Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're looking at box number 34. We're going to start off with some Brave and the Bold, and where we left off on the last video, and we're going to work our way through to some Cable. So it's going to be a good time. I hope you will like and comment and subscribe. Really appreciate when you do that. If there's anything you'd like to see that's inside of a pack, I'll be happy to do a special video for that. But in the meantime, let's get into box number 34. All right, we are picking up where we left off last time with Brave and the Bold. We are on issue 157. Batman somehow teaming up with Commandy, even though Commandy lives in the far future. And it looks like he's managed to get back to the present, and instead of staying here where it makes more sense, he's probably going to go back to the future, the horrible dystopian that he lives in. So 157, sorry, 157 through 160. I had such a crush on pre-crisis Supergirl. This is one of my favorite issues. Involves her adopted father, Mr. Danvers. So it was a great, good issue right there. Brave and the Bold, 160. We've got 161. Batman once again teaming up with Adam Strange, going to Ran to solve the mystery of Adam Strange's murder. He's probably not dead. Probably not. 161 through 164. Batman and Hawkman teaming up to fight a haunted museum. Sounds like a good fight for Batman and Hawkman. Issue 165. Batman and Man-Bat. This was interesting in the sense because this is when we start to see, because Man-Bat had been sort of a very heroic character to start off, even though he was kind of fugly. He was, he was heroic, and this is where he's starting to begin to. I don't think it was planned so much, but he's kind of desperate here because his daughter has inherited some kind of hearing problem that's going to kill her or something because of him being Man-Bat, and he needs Batman's help to get over that. And he's a little desperate. So there's 165. We've got 168. We've got Batman and Green Arrow. Have we been talking about? No, maybe. Okay. And in the back, we've got Nemesis, who was a kind of a spy character that ran backups in Brave and the Bold. Right there, 168. Batman and Zatanna, issue 169, right there. Batman's like, hey, don't you kidnap Zatanna. I remember getting this one at a point when all I knew her in was the Perez suit, so I didn't recognize this suit. So it was like, oh, I didn't know she had another costume. We've got 172, Batman and Firestorm. Doing their thing. Nemesis still having his backups there. Got Brave and the Bold number 173. Batman teaming up with the Guardians of the Universe because that makes sense. And still got Nemesis running in the background. Dan Spiegel doing art. Wasn't my favorite artist, but he was consistent. He was kind of a classic artist. 173. 176, Batman and Swamp Thing. Mike Kaluta. Early Mike Kaluta Swamp Thing art here. So that's Brave and the Bold, 176. Brave and the Bold, 177. Batman and Elongated Man. Gonna hang you by the neck of the elongated man. It was very convoluted. Nemesis still going on. Got issue 180, Batman and the Spectre, because they're about the same power level, right? Going up against the Dragon God. And then this was an interesting one. Batman and Hawk and Dove, Brave and the Bold, 181. So even though the Hawk and Dove had been contemporaries of Robin and Kid Flash and all that, and Robin and Kid Flash were all still like 15, 16 years old, they decided for this story that they had aged in real time, and so Hawk and Dove were like in their 20s, and so it's like that part didn't jive up if you looked at so this story was always considered to be kind of out of continuity, maybe taking place in that same world as a lot of those older Brave and the Bold stories that didn't really fit. But that's 181. Here we have 184. Batman teaming up with his the daughter of his counterpart from another world in the multiverse, the Huntress, and finding out some dark secrets about his parents. That's kind of a plot that comes up every once in a while, that's an early issue of mine as well. We've got issue 185, Batman and Green Arrow. My wife talking to the dog. Batman and Green Arrow, 185. Batman and Green Arrow going up against the Penguin. Spoiler, that's not really Robin. We've got an actual two-parter, which was very rare for Brave and the Bold. Batman teaming up with Rose and the Thorn. This is Brave and the Bold number 188. Rose and the Thorn being this very shy girl who is very introverted and doesn't want to talk to anybody, but when the sun goes down, she has like a dual personality, and she becomes the Thorn, and the Thorn is a kick-butt vigilante, and somehow Rose never notices that she's sore every morning. But so that was part one. They were going up against Nazis. If you see Nazis, gotta get the Nazis. And so yes, that was a two-parter, continuing in 189 right there. That Brave and the Bold team up, and then we go to 192, Batman teaming up with Superboy. If I remember correctly, it wasn't really Superboy, but that's all I do. Going up against IQ, one of those super genius. I haven't seen IQ, Ira Quimby. Have we seen him in a while? Was he in that whole in 52? I don't know. Long lost super evil genius DC character. So then, after appearing in a bunch of in his own backup strip, now we have Batman actually teaming up with Nemesis, and together they further his storyline, which was involved, finding the person that tried to kill him or killed his brother or killed his family, I don't know, whatever. So that they actually team up together in 193. 196, Batman and Ragman. Right there. Somehow the thing fell off. It's supposed to be right there. These two in costume. This is before Ragman was like magical. This was still, he was a dude. He had like somehow gained strength and speed and agility, but he wasn't like spooky yet. So that's 196. Big Boy issue 197. So this is takes place on Earth 2, and it's the Earth 2 Batman and the Earth 2 Catwoman having one final adventure before they realize they're going to fall in love and get married and have a baby, which is the Huntress. Then we have just a couple of issues left. 198, Batman teaming up with Karate Kid, going up against Pulsar, who I think had appeared in the Karate Kid book. And 199, Batman teaming back up with the Spectre, who's a bit out of control and seems to be not a part of Jim Corrigan at the moment. And then the big final issue of Brave and the Bold. We had a throwback story to the classic Batman and Robin going up against a guy called Brimstone, and that Brimstone sort of communicates with his Earth 1 counterpart, and then that Brimstone becomes a bad guy. We've got Dave Gibbons' art in here. Before this kind of early art for him at DC, and of course a backup story with the first appearance of the Outsiders, including Halo and Katana and Geo-Force. So that's a big issue right there. So then the next series to have the name Brave and the Bold was this 6-part series that every issue, it was one long story it was a team up of Green Arrow, Butcher, and the Question. If you're asking who was the Butcher, you're probably not alone. He had his own book around this time. He was a Native American hero, but he didn't seem to last very long. But he was in this series with Green Arrow and the Question, and that's issue 1. And this is all, of course, written by Mike Grell and Mike Barron. So they were doing some gritty stuff. So it was in the style of the Urban Hunter, Green Arrow, and of course, Question was very much a serious character. So lots of seriousness there. Then we jump to the next role of Brave and the Bold from the aughts, I imagine. George Perez doing art, so this is of course one of my favorites. This series starts off with various heroes teaming up, but it's actually I think the first 6 issues make up a single story, and it's written by Mark Waid, drawn by George Perez. So it's great stuff. This is also, let me see if we see it. So it's Batman and Green Lantern in this first issue, Supergirl and Lobo in issue 4. I think maybe it's issue 3 is that infamous issue where Green Lantern is traveling through space with Supergirl, and she's kind of hitting on him, and you can see him reminding himself that she's only a teenager, and everybody is all in a hubbub about that, like why he's even thinking that. But anyway, that's issue 4 right there. And then we go to issue 5 with Batman teaming up with what was at the time the latest version of the Legion of Superheroes, which, if I remember correctly, had also been created by Mark Waid. And then we kind of got out of that first storyline, and we just got to some other team-ups, and we had Flash and the Doom Patrol, who I thought had teamed up before. I think there's or maybe I'm misremembering that, but that's a team-up. And of course, I think that would have been Wally West, or maybe this took place in the past, and it was Barry Allen. Can't remember. Drawing a blank. Anyway. Flash and Outtro. Slipping. We got Brave and the Bold, number 9. We got Blackhawk and the Boy Commandos. We got the Metal Men teaming up with Dial H for Hero. He was just going, Mark Waid was going nuts. We got Hawkman and the Atom teaming up again as they had in the past. We got Challengers of the Unknown. We got everybody. It's a box of chocolates of characters. And then we go to issue 12, which also I think is the culmination of a multi-part story, not the same one as the first few issues, but we've got Challengers of the Unknown, we've got Metamorpho, we've got Wonder Woman, we've got Ultraman, we've got Firestorm. This is a great series. Then we got Batman teaming up with the Golden Age Flash there, having going a little meet cute there. We go to Scott Collins doing, so we've lost George Perez, unfortunately, but we've got Batman and Catwoman having an adventure together there. We've got Marv Wolfman coming on to write his character Raven, teaming up with Supergirl. Something to do with her father Zor-El going on there, right there, and Brave and the Bold 17. In Brave and the Bold 23, we've got Booster Gold and Magog, who had been appearing in sort of a modern day hero, which was a sort of a wink at the Kingdom Come miniseries. And we had seen Magog arrive so that he would be the character who would be in Kingdom Come and in the future. But so we got him teaming up with Booster Gold there. We got a team up of Static and Black Lightning, and I think at this point it had not been firmly established that Static was part of the DC universe. So I think this was a little funky canon wise, but we see these two African American electric powered heroes teaming up in Brave and the Bold 24. And we got Black Hawk and the Flash teaming up here. Flash gets thrown into the past. We got J. Michael Straczynski, who has actually recently done some weird team-ups over there at Marvel. I remember this one, I think, is the one where it came up where it's like, okay, I know that you want to be a superhero and all, but this is wartime, and in war, sometimes you have to use a gun and you have to shoot people, and so Flash has to decide what he's going to do in that situation. So that's Brave and the Bold number 28. And let's see, we got issue 29, Batman and Brother Power the Geek, a character I've never really understood, but he is some sort of mystically animated ragdoll, and they're teaming up there. We've got Brave and the Bold 32, Aquaman and the Demon teaming up. He's a demon. He doesn't need to breathe, so no problems with them teaming up. All right, we got a bit of a big boy book here. Issue 33, Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and Batgirl. This was a very popular issue. I can't remember whether it's Wonder Woman or Zatanna, but one of them wakes up. They had some kind of bad dream, some vision, and and they call the other one, and they decide to have a day out with Batgirl, and you find out at the end that whichever one of them it was, they know that she's about to get shot, and lose the use of her legs, but for some magic-y, timey-wimey reason, they can't actually tell her or stop it. But they know it's coming, so they're just making sure she has a good time before that happens. So do with that as you will, ethically speaking. We've got the Doom Patrol and the Legion of Superheroes. We've got early Doom Patrol teaming up with early Legion right there through their little time sphere, and then that story kind of continued into the Inferior Five, one of DC's lesser known, and the Legion of Substitute Heroes, two of DC's lesser known super groups. So that was some deep cut there, and that was the end of that series. The next title that had Brave and the Bold was Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman basically recruits Batman to solve a mystery across two worlds. And this gets into a lot of Celtic mythology and things like that. So obviously the Liam Sharp, the writer and I believe artist, had a strong interest in that. But so that's issue 1, and then ran through issue 6 right there. So that ends the Brave and the Bold. We then go to Breach. So Breach was a character similar to Captain Atom in the sense that this was supposed to be a Captain Atom reboot, and then they changed their mind, so they just changed the name. And then they're in Infinite Crisis. There was a bit of a throw to that where they captured Breach and some other people and were like, yes, this was supposed to be the Captain Atom of another world. I read this I didn't read it in order because I got them out of, in various dollar boxes, but so I don't remember a lot about it, but it was a lot of an unlikely, unwilling guy with powers kind of thing. That's issue 1. Goes through issue 5. It's got Marcos Martin, something like that, the artist. A lot of people are interested in his art. That was very early for him. Written by Bob Harris, who was a classic Marvel editor and writer who would become editor-in-chief of DC for a while. Issue 6 of Breach. And that series ended with number 11. Got Break-Thru. This was some sort of crisis-y kind of thing for the Ultraverse, and I basically got it because it's got George Perez art. So there you go. It was Break-Thru issue 1 and Break-Thru issue 2 right there. But it's a beauty cover. Beautiful George Perez art. So over time, in various dollar boxes, would pick up some of this early image stuff. I wasn't really into it when it first came out. Some of it I wish I had gotten, some early Spawn and things like that, but I was already spending so much money on the Marvel and DC universes, I could not branch out into other ones. But so I picked up some stuff in dollar boxes, and then spent a little money to fill in the holes on that. So I believe this was an initial miniseries for Brigade, issue 1. Sometimes it's hard to tell which book belongs to which series, but I believe I got them straight here, and that goes through issue 4 at the end of that miniseries. Don't ask me to tell you what actually happens. And then I think I'm missing some issues, but we've got issue 0 of the regular series there. And issue 5 of the regular series there. So got to get the ones that I'm missing from that. So DC had their Blackest Night crossover, and then they followed it up with Brightest Day, which is, of course, those are the two elements of the Green Lantern oath of office, as it were. And so this whole storyline, Jeff Johns writing, and getting into one question it answers is, why is Earth such a focus for all of the big things that happen in the universe? So they had an issue 0. I think this was every 2 weeks series. It's issue 0. Had some characters die, some characters come back, some characters die and come back within the same series. Brightest Day again. David Finch doing some awesome art on this stuff. Ivan Rice doing interior art. Deathstorm, who actually survived beyond this series, and he actually appeared on the CW Flash show. So I guess people just really liked the look of him. That's Deathstorm, which of course starts out as being dead Firestorm coming back to life, but then he becomes his own thing. We've got issue 5, some secrets of Hawkman revealed right there. It jumps to issue 13. Got some tie-ins with the Star Sapphires right there. Love Lost, and their reincarnation of keeping love being forever reuniting, being reincarnated and reuniting. We have the advent of the White Lantern ring, and we have Batman gaining that ring for a while here in issue 14. Issue 18, just a beauty cover. I think this was the month when everybody was doing just these beauty covers. Issue 18. We've got issue 19 with some Aquaman-oriented stuff going on. It occurs to me, this is being written by Jeff Johns, who would go on to write the New 52 Aquaman not long after. So I'm thinking that had they not done the New 52, this would have sort of tried to set up some of the things that they would wind up doing in the New 52 Aquaman anyway. Just a thought. That's issue Brightest Day number 19. We've got Brightest Day number 24 with the Swamp Thing getting some White Lantern action. This is also the series where, so originally the Swamp Thing was believed to be Alec Holland, who had been turned into a plant creature. Then in the famous Alan Moore story, we find out that no, Alec Holland died, and a bunch of plant matter became the monster and thought it was Alec Holland. So in this series, if not this one, then the aftermath, Alec Holland actually comes back to life and does become the Swamp Thing. So he actually winds up as the actual Swamp Thing that he was thought to be at the first. So this is issue 24. Oh, that was the last issue too. Sorry. There was a one-shot Atom special for some reason right there, and then this it's all coming back to me now. The Brightest Day aftermath, the search for Swamp Thing, some of that stuff I just said happens here. We got John Constantine and Zatanna helping out, and that goes to issue 3. but we are about to slap up into the New 52, and the New 52 is going to kind of continue this. So that was one of the weird things about the New 52, as it related to Deadman and Dove and Swamp Thing and stuff, is that they didn't want to totally, well, I don't know if it was because they didn't want to, or they couldn't get rid of the stories that were planned before they decided to do the New 52 for that. So the New 52 just kind of kept that going in the same way it did that for Batman and Green Lantern. There, that's 3. So now we're getting into, we got this Brotherhood #1. This is a reference to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, but it's kind of a dark and gritty look at mutants and their lives. The ones that are not the pretty ones, like on the X-Men. That's Brotherhood #1. Well, I said pretty, but you know, here she's not bad. But that's Brotherhood #4. There. Got Brotherhood #5. I think this is Glenn Fabry. Yeah, I always remember my Glenn artists. Right there, it's issue 5. And issue 9, we got Dupe from the Ecstatics showing up for an issue. Right there. And now for something completely different, we've got from the Amalgam one-shots where DC and Marvel characters are combined. We have Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So you can kind of see, got a green skull there, or a laughing skull, and various ways that Bruce Wayne is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Wolverine is Batman, but he's Dark Claw, so you know. Got, sorry, focus. Now look at it. There you go. Alright. We've got Bruce Wayne, The Road Home. So this was part of, I don't remember, what was this part of? Something to do with Bruce Wayne being gone, and he's coming back. And so this is The Road Home. So lots of stories of the various Bat family involved in, I can't remember which storyline this is he's coming back from, but got Batgirl one-shot here. We had a Red Robin. Given how that we're talking about that Batgirl, the Stephanie Brown Batgirl, and we got Tim Drake as Red Robin, this still must be tied into that RIP stuff, because that was all happening right before the New 52, and this was also all happening right before New 52. So somehow in the whole all together. So there you go. And this here's something you don't see every day. The Craptacular B-Sides, which I file under B-Sides. Kind of some less powerful superheroes who have less powerful adventures. And they have issue 1 through issue 3. Check out those well-defined arms. Not my favorite artist, but anyway, very stylistic issue right there. Let's see. And we've got, I gotta get the rest of this one. I just had the first, I think I've just got the first part of this. Bucky Barnes, no. I think I'm thinking of another series. Anyway, Bucky Barnes, The Winter Soldier, issue 1. Bucky Barnes having wacky adventures. There's a lot of humor on this one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and through issue 6, he's getting his fingers shot off, his bionic fingers shot off right there. That's the end that I have. Like I said, I think there may be more issues of that I need to get. Got the Bug one-shot. So Bug from the Micronauts traveling to the main DC or Marvel universe, and winds up getting thrown through time and visits lots of classic points in Marvel history. I think that would be a trademark preservation one shot right there. We got Bullet Points, issue 1. I believe that the premise, this was an alternate universe kind of thing where I think super secret, the super soldier serum doesn't work, and so they give Steve Rogers the Iron Man armor developed by Howard Stark, something like that, because you know you got skinny Steve, but Erskine gets killed before he has time to inject the formula. So that's the premise of this alternate world series. That's issue 1, and that goes through issue 5. And so if that's the case, then how did all the other major points in Marvel history play out through the arrival of Galactus? Butterfly effect series there. We got another amalgam. Got Bullets and Bracelets. Kind of we got Wonder Woman, and got Steve Trevor and Frank Castle in the mix there, and I'm not sure who else might be included in that, but another mix of DC and Marvel together. I've got some Bullseye stuff I'm just kind of working on. Don't have all this. I just have issue 2 of this series from a while back. Just got this out of a $1 box or so recently. Let's see, we got I do have the full series of Bullseye Greatest Hits right there, which I originally thought was like a reprint series, but it's not. It's actually a story. So we got Bullseye Greatest Hits number 1 through Bullseye Greatest Hits number 5 there. And next we have, remember I mentioned when Brave and the Bold, I mentioned the Butcher? Well, here you go. Here's the Butcher, issue 1. Love it when things alphabetically fall together closely. That's issue 1. And that series ended with issue 5. So much for Native American representation. And then that actually finishes up the Bees. Or if there's actually anybody who is, watching all of my videos and the progress we're making. And so we begin the C's. And we begin the C's with Cable. And this is, of course, the flashback -1 issue of the first Cable series. So it's a kind of an issue taking place prior to the first issue of that series. And it's got Ladron art, who was kind of a modern Jack Kirby look. Kind of a neato issue there. So then we go to the actual number 1. Now there was Blood Cable, and I think this is in the next box. There was a Cable miniseries before this, but it was actually had, it was Cable : something. So this is actually the first book named just Cable, and of course this is the ongoing series. So got that first issue collector's item of Cable 1 there. We've got issue 4 there, showing Cable with his former team right there, and they're not having a very good reunion. It's in fact a deadly reunion. We've got issue 5 fighting Sinsear. That's a very 90s name. That's a Cable issue 5. Cable issue 12, Fear and Loathing, featuring Senyaka. So one of his partners, but kind of a cool thing there. Cable 12. But, Cable 13, dealing with Despair. Despair with a Y. Classic Marvel demon-y force. We've got number 16, Cable 16, dealing with the Phalanx Covenant. Final Sanction. This big sort of team-up or crossover thing that was gonna, basically rebooted all the X-Men books and put them into a different kind of configuration. And that was going on there. That would be the thing that like Generation X would fall out of, that kind of thing. We've got Cable number 17, Deluxe. I can't keep track of the deluxe editions and stuff they had at that time. If it says deluxe, I mark it as deluxe. I have a mixture of those because I was buying them. I did not get Cable when it came out at the time, so I've got a variety of different editions that I bought. But we've got some Storm and some Caliban in there in issue 17, and in issue 20 got Cable and his dad and Professor Xavier. Legion Quest, part of the leading into the Age of Apocalypse, right there. So that's probably the last issue for like 3 months. But then would have done like then X-Man would have taken the place of that, and then we would have picked back up after that with issue 21. So which we have the advent of Blacksmith, the supporting character for Cable here. Sorry. Then we've got issue 28 with Cable dealing with the Sugar Man, who had lived in the Age of Apocalypse but made it to the regular universe. He's kind of gross. Got issue 29, Cable making a very pouch-oriented decision. Got Ian Churchill doing art, great stuff. Would go on to do that Supergirl stuff that's very popular in pinup form. Cable 32, getting in got Domino hanging out. They're headed towards Onslaught. They probably had no idea what Onslaught was going to be at this point. All the books were like, we're going to Onslaught, and eventually they would figure out what that was going to be. 33, what was it, Post, is that his name? Weird name, weird guy. He works for Onslaught. Cable fighting him. Got 35. Now we're fighting Onslaught. We got Apocalypse in there. They're classic enemies. And fighting it out. There. Got Cable 38. 36? 38? 36. Still kind of, his arm's gone haywire. Haywire, get it? A prayer for the dying. Got 39, teaming up with the, don't call them Micronauts, because that's the trademark of Hasbro, or whichever one it was. But the characters that basically Marvel created some characters for Micronauts. So when they lost the license to do Micronauts comics, they still had the license to the characters that they created, which included Bug and Marionette and what's his name? I think they lost a Croyer and Baron Karza and that kind of thing. So, but their Cable's shrunk down and hanging out with the former Micronauts. And we've got Cable 40, Yeah, 40. Teaming got some Cypher there, some Domino there. Got 44. Cable coming into meeting up with Madeline Pryor, who is technically his mother, with Cyclops being his father, being born in the original X Factor book and sent to the future to grow up. So there you go. Unfortunately, while he was gone, his mother became a bit of a kook. Nice thick bundle. Cable 45. Now we're going into the Zero Tolerance crossover. Operation Zero Tolerance. Gonna do away with all the mutants. Cable 45. But apparently they didn't, because here in Cable 52, he's still around. Finding out the secret of Chevair. 52. Alright. Cable 53. Breaching the lair of Apocalypse Ladron. Coming on and doing his interesting artwork. As you can see in there. And Cable 53. Cable 60. Part of the Nemesis contract. Introducing Agent 18. We'll skip over 18 and go straight to 19, shall we? And more Ladron art here. 81 of Cable. Still trucking along. Little homage here to Jim Steranko's cover for Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. In this one. That one goes through 64. A little origin, catching everybody up on just who the heck this convoluted history is of Cable. Good thing to do every once in a while. 65. There, Rachel Summers. Cable's sister by another mother, as it were. Hanging out with Cable. Got 68. The Avengers showing up, as drawn by Ladron. So an interesting perspective on those characters there with that kind of artist. Got 69, dude. Cable 69, dealing with the sanctity of time, and issue 72. Got some Kubert art there, going up again, back against Post again. If you thought he was gone, but Post will return. I don't know that we've seen Post since then, but 73, Liefeld is back, baby, and he's more powerful than ever. Rob Liefeld knocking it out. Oh, it is kind of funny that the feet are gone. I'm not. I realize he does draw feet sometimes, but it's just funny that they're not there right there. Anyway, 73. We got here on 76. There was this whole Apocalypse the 12 thing where there was like supposedly 12 mutants who were like the most important mutants, and I can't remember if they ever fully defined all 12 of them. Of course, all of our big mutants were part of it. But that's Cable 76. Got Cable 77, part of the Ages of Apocalypse. If I remember correctly, this is kind of a bunch of different one-shots or single issues that were a view of what the future, different alternate futures where Apocalypse was in control. 82. He's got his cool costume with his father's visor around his neck, just as a decoration. Interestingly, I think Cyclops was dead at this point. Not that he stayed that way, but issue 82 of Cable. 83, Domino being a badass, although possibly not our Domino or under her own control. Got 87, bit of a team up with Mystique and what looks like a young Rogue. So there's some, as Cable does, he probably traveled through time. Sorry, there you go. 87. Got 88. Cable teaming up. Also, like, he's got his half mask thing covering up that one eye. Anyway, hanging out with Nightcrawler there. And 91. Got a cool motorcycle. Cable got a motorcycle. That's the only thing he needed to be cooler. So that's 91. Got this storyline. 92. Cable made me do it. It's like some guy kills himself and he paints this on the wall or something, and so everybody's like, "Oh, we got to bring in Cable. This guy said that Cable made him do it." And Cable is famous enough that actually makes sense to somebody. Then we go to 99. We're kind of getting into this Igor Cordy period on Cable, getting into that new X-Men type period. And David Teichmann, who we don't hear much about, doing the writing on that right there. And then we have issue 100, which is a Nuff Said issue. They did these for a few months there, where basically there was no dialogue anywhere in the book. You kind of had to figure it out from the pictures, and sometimes they would put the script in the back, things like that. That's Cable issue 100. We go to issue 104. Right there, more Igor Cordy artwork on Cable 104. Cable 105. Right there. Last little ditch to try to get Darko McCann coming on to try to get some interest going in Cable, but it didn't work because 107 is the final issue and he's leaving it all behind. So there you go. And then we got some annuals. They would combine, since Cable was sort of the leader of X-Force, they would combine the annuals, and I think I stuck most of them here with Cable. Or it might depend on what was in the indicia, but I got this one. So this is 96 with X-Force and Cable versus the Shi'ar. That was a wraparound cover, so I'll make sure everybody can see that. In 1998, they did all these annuals where they teamed different heroes up, some of which they had their own book and some which they didn't. Usually if the first one mentioned has a book, that's where I file it. So that was the 1998 where Cable teams up with Machine Man. And then in 99, Cable got another annual right there. And that is all of that box. All right, that was box 34. Next time we're going to do box 35. We're going to continue with Cable. We're going to do some Cage, and we will get into Captain America. So I hope you'll be here for that. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.